My name is Martin from Strat Chat, and welcome back if you are watching this playthrough, and welcome if this is the first time you've watched this channel. Might be an idea to go back and have a look at number one first, or watch it from here because it's kind of a new story anyway in this episode. So last time we were William the Conqueror, or William the Bastard as he was then known, and we invaded England, and we have become, instead of the Duke of Normandy, we are now the King of England. We stopped the game immediately at that point, and today we're going to be seeing what we can do in the first 10 years or so to try and stabilise this kingdom. We do actually have a number of challenges ahead of us. There are a number of, well, two very, very powerful Anglo-Saxon dukes, both of whom have two duchies. They're really rivals for the throne. There is Morcar and there is Edwin. Morcar has Deira, the Duchy of Deira, and the Duchy of Northumbria, and Edwin has Lancaster and Mercia, both very, very powerful. I'm going to want to change to the English culture. In time, I'm going to want to get them to become English instead of Anglo-Saxon. They currently utterly hate me. Okay, that's absolutely clear. So I'm going to need to try to convert them. I might go for some marriages. I might have a look into that, see if I can marry them off, because they won't be able to join factions if they're allied to me. I'll have a look at their skills. If they're really good, I'll get them on the council, but I'm not convinced that that's the case. So it's all about sort of stabilising the kingdom in that kind of way. I've got 22 counties. Clearly, I've got to give a lot of those away. I'm obviously going to keep, well, I say obviously, I'm going to keep Essex. I'm going to keep Kent. And this works out really well because these are really the best duchies in the kingdom. Mercia is interesting because it has 9 counties. But I can't have 9 counties. I haven't got the stewardship for that. But I'm on 6. I know I can put my wife onto helping me manage my stewardship, and that's going to put me onto 7. And I think that when I combine the Norman and the English cultures, I think we're going to get an Anglo-Saxon innovation, which is going to boost the number of counties we control to 8. So I think any minute now, I'm going to be able to manage 8 counties. And the really, really clever thing here is if we just look at the duchy titles, Essex has 5 rich counties. Kent has 3. 5 and 3 is 8. That's going to be the royal domain for the rest of William the Conqueror's life. Clearly, he's got to, or we have got to bring some stability to these areas. London or the county of Middlesex actually has one of the highest control ratings in the conquered sort of southeast, 25. Most of them are actually, yes. So Kent is 0. Actually, it depends. Yes, some are 25, some are 0. But we need to get those up to 100 in Essex and in Kent. And this number here, -1 per turn, -0.1 per turn, that's going to slowly increase as we use our marshal to bring control. But it's not just going to be my marshal. I'm also going to be looking to get some serve the crown increases control growth. Strict organisation does. So there's a couple of martial traits that we might be able to get that's going to help us. At some point relatively early on, we're going to be dropping out of this tree, and we're almost certainly going into stewardship, so that for a great chunk of our reign, we're really going to be able to pump resources back into England. It's going to be very interesting how we pick the people who are going to be the dukes of these places. They've got to be loyal, they've got to be talented, and we've got to kind of put a sort of the pin in their shoe that's going to cause them, even though they're dukes, not to be overly powerful. So that's going to be interesting. It's also going to be interesting having to give away Normandy, because obviously there's a dukedom there, and we're going to give that away. We're probably going to play for about 10 years or so, see if we can establish a relatively stable kingdom. As I say, we're going to be trying to stay out of wars. I might even drop an alliance or two, possibly with my daughters, and then use those to kind of befriend Edwin and Morcar up here, possibly. That's a possibility. I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. Obviously, my army's going to come up to full strength relatively quickly. That's going to help the money situation. We're going to carry on swaying our friend Archbishop Richard. And already, because we were swaying him before, he's got plus 15, so we're getting 0.8 per turn already from the many, many the many church holdings that there are in England. As when we get him up to 50, we'll kind of max that out, and hopefully they'll carry on building them. So I think the most important number is going to be this number here. And we're going to see that going up because we're going to see the control in these counties improving, and we're going to eventually we're going to start seeing buildings and holdings being built. So you go to Middlesex, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got 5 holdings. Only 3 of those have been built. We're going to want to build the others. We're going to want more buildings here. We're going to want duchy buildings. I don't think we'll get all of that done in today's session, but that's kind of the way that we are going. One other thing is this incredibly important number here, prestige. That needs to keep on going up. I don't want to waste any prestige, and every opportunity I get to get some, I'm going to be getting it, because I want that to go up to 1,500 so that I can change the law, ad law. I want to change it to feudal elective. So I'm nowhere near enough prestige, but I want to do that because that will mean I can vote my primary heir every single generation to all of the counties in Essex and the duchy itself. If I can save up 3,000, I'll do the same with Kent, and then the whole royal domain is going to just remain in, and that would be absolutely perfect. Right, I'm a little bit stressed, and I think calling a hunt will help to reduce that stress, but also, as soon as we can, let's see if we can get the hopefully 150 prestige or more for the hunts. We're just going to pay for that, and that's happening. So Cornwall, I can certainly give this to my primary heir here. So he's going to have Devon, and at some point I am going to form the duchy. Grant that to him. Now that's also the capital, so it's the best one to give to him. He's still quite youthful, and what I want to do is give Cornwall to somebody who, though talented, is not too talented, because I don't want to give him somebody that he's going to have as a councillor. I want to give him somebody who's good, but but I don't actually want him for my councillor, because he'll eventually become the duke here. Right, I like this chap because he's Norman. I don't mean his name's Norman. He's a Norman, and he's in my family as well. He's a part of my dynasty, so I'm going to give him Cornwall. And I'm just going to make note that basically, when I have the money, I'm going to form the petty kingdom, or the duchy of Cornwall, and I'm going to get a load of prestige from that, which is going to be really, really valuable to me. But also, I'm going to give that duchy title to my son, so that he will be the duke there, but only a very modestly, not a particularly powerful one. Okay, so think about who I want to give Normandy to. I quite like, obviously that's me. We've got this chap here who is a cowardly lackey. In a way, a good person to give it to, because he's not going to rebel. He's going to be terrified of me. He's also currently my chancellor. He won't be my chancellor for very long. And then you've got someone like this who has it's very similar kind of stewardship, so he'll be kind of very similar kind of quality of leader. He's a rapacious blackguard. He is going to try and murder me. He is going to try and take things that aren't his. Looking down this list carefully, you can see I think probably the best person is this chap here. This is actually my current marshal. Making him a duke is probably a good idea, and I could also give him my county there. So that should win his loyalty. He doesn't look desperately loyal at the moment, but I think this will win him over somewhat, probably quite a lot. Can't give him Alençon. Right, now that's because it's my realm capital. So let's change that now. This is going to be my realm capital. Now, in a way, it's probably not the ideal time to move it, because by moving it now, I'm missing out, because I'm only getting 75% of the money from here, because I'm only on 25% control. But it'll go up quickly. I'm going to do it now anyway. Move realm capital here. There's lots of reasons why it's awkward not having it there. Partly, for example, I can't give away Alençon to my marshal. But also, just from a historical point of view, I'm now King William the Conqueror of England. He resides in London. That's where he belongs. Right, let's give away Alençon. Grant it to this chap here. Right, I'm down to 19. Right, fantastic. So I have all of the counties that I want. My domain should go to 8, I think, when I change to the English culture. We do not have bailiffs, but the Anglo-Saxons, I believe, do. That's going to give us +1 domain. Okay, so when we combine those two cultures, we're going to be laughing. Right, I'm going to sort out my royal court. In particular, I'm not going to show you all of this because it'll be dull, but I got some nice things to hang on the wall, and I'm looking for the ones with the most prestige. Oh, really, really nice. Katana's given me half a prestige. That's very good. And the head of St Edmund. I live just down the road from St Edmundsbury, the place named after petty King Edmund, I suppose, murdered by or killed by the Vikings, famously. I might declare war on King Malcolm later because he's got a bit of Cumberland, which is a bit of de jure England, and I want that back before, certainly in this lifetime. Curthose, who actually died before he inherited in real life. Right, that increases my tax. And it'll increase my tax a lot more once he takes full control over his new possessions. Right, so what I'm really interested in is all these buildings are going to become undisabled in 1 month, and these guys are all going to be refilled within a couple of months, 2 or 3 months or whatever, 3 or 4 months perhaps, and then we're going to find out exactly how much money we're making at the beginning. Right, we got Lane now. He's going to do this job so much quicker. Decisions. Embrace English culture. We're going to get everything we want here. So we're going to get the 150 prestige, which is great. We're going to get additional technologies. All of my family, and I think most of the Norman French that are here, are going to adopt English. And 40% of the Anglo-Saxon counties in de jure England. Let's see. Long live the English. Right, so we've got this little pocket of Anglo-Saxon here, but then these big areas of Anglo-Saxonness. So we're going to have to use our steward and put him on promote culture. So we certainly want all of our own domain to be English. The two most important ones, which is Kent and Middlesex. Oh, right, okay, well that was wrong then. So let's increase promote culture in Middlesex. I think it's important that my own capital is on my side. You see, we've gone up to 8 now, which is absolutely splendid. We're also making 2.7 now, partly because the church holdings have gone up, vassal amounts have gone up, some of the buildings have come online. We're about to go full strength with some of our military. Right, of my 2 great vassals, the 2 great Anglo-Saxon vassals, which are the most powerful? So we have this one on 2,300 troops and they're allied to each other, this one. So, okay, so I think that Morcar is, if you like, the bigger threat. So I'm going to arrange a marriage. He's not married. I've got an unmarried daughter here somewhere. And I'm going to see if he will marry her. He will. That'll give me an alliance with him. And I think that makes me pretty safe. I'm now getting 4.7 a month already. 4.9. It's going up very because the Hunter's Lodge is just been constructed. There are 3 titles that can be created. Each of those, I think, will give me 300 prestige. So there's enough there. If I can form all of those, I can change one of the law in the Duchy of Essex. Can I just stop here to say briefly that if you are still watching this and you're enjoying it and getting something out of it, and you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you liked and or subscribed. That'd be really brilliant. Thank you very, very much. So we're already up to 40 here, which is really nice to see, but these places are going up painfully slowly. Kent is now on 3. It's the second most important county. Well done, Cecilia. Lovely. Martial perk. This should help things. Serve the crown will improve control growth across my domain. We'll start seeing that represented here now. That'll serve the crown, 0.3. There's a bit of me thinks I should be going on pilgrimages and things and trying to get in with the Pope, but that's not happening. I'm concentrating on sorting out this succession before I start pouring investments into Essex and Kent. Okay, I'm very keen not to die. All right, I'm well again. Thank heavens for that. Brilliant news that we have converted this area to the culture that we want. So let's do another one. Let's convert the rest of Kent. So we're going to Surrey, 3 years. And this place is going to be at 100% control very, very soon. We can see how Kent is beginning to speed up, and there are other places that are, and the money is just going to keep on going up and up. We're in double figures. We're over 10 monthly income. And it's about to go up even further. 10.5. Yes. 10.6. Excellent. So send our Marshal down to Kent, because Kent is a very rich county. I think we can get all the gold from there monthly. That's going to make a big, big difference. Right. So while we've got it, because we might be about to lose it in that event, let's go to the Duchy of Essex and add a law. Feudal elective, add law. We are going to simply put Robert Curthose as my... That's brilliant. So essentially I am the only elector. So I can elect whoever I want, and they will get the whole duchy and all of the counties. Robert Curthose was, in real life, although he died before he became king, was considered to be a really, really promising young man. Brought up from birth for the role, really. We've got Whitchay and Wessex still to go. That'll help us towards doing the same law change in Kent. So at 13.4, 13.6, it's literally going up all the time. And we're only working on our second of 8 counties. Lovely, lovely. This is really good. So Kent's gone, 100% control. We're now at 17.2. So we'll just work on the next thing in our domain. And you know, once the domain is done, we can put the guy to working on improving the army. Okay, one of the things I'm going to do is find out exactly where my most powerful non-English vassals are. Here he is. And I'm going to set my spy master to try and get secrets. I really want them on his lordship himself, but there are other people there. I might be able to get something on mayors and people like that to get some money from. Okay, we'll let her carry on with what she's doing, and let's just blackmail people. I've got one of Morcar himself. Oh, please. Right, what are we going for? Golden obligations. Okay. Right, if he accepts this, just expose it then. Okay, so what I'm thinking is build up the places that produce a lot of money. That's 300. But there's still stuff left for hunts and stuff. Right, let's have a look at these, because I got loads. Right, we're just going to take the 15 because it's not going up. Nile Bird 10, yeah, we'll take that. I'm just going to take the 34 because it looks like you're going to die. All told, that's a chunk of money. Just going to stop here very briefly to say you see me using these things. Now these I make these up for every game, and my kind of like principal kingdom. England is a particularly complex one, goes on to like 2 pages. I make a note of who's in control of each of the duchies, if I've got plans for them. I'm going to murder them, I'm going to take it off them at some point. Do I want that for my son, for my heir? Do I want to put an old lady in charge there, because when she dies it will come back to me and I can grant it to somebody else? And it's ever so useful. Now actually on my Patreon, all of these are there to download. They're nothing special, you can make them yourself. I'm not pretending they are. but it's only £1 to be my Patreon. So have a look. The link is in the description. Maybe more interesting things will come along when people start adding. At the moment, I've got one patron, pays £1 a month, and he gets a lot of attention. You could be the second. Okay, let's get back to this. What we're going to do is we're going to finish as soon as we get 1,500 prestige and we change the law in succession law in Kent. It's kind of beginning to ramp up just how much money I'm getting from these hooks. I mean, this is just really, really happening now, isn't it, that these places are coming under full control. We're going to have massive gold. We haven't even started really developing our holdings yet. Again, 150. Right, we're close. I can smell the end of this episode. We are close. Thank you so much to my vassal. 150 prestige. We've done it. We've done it. Okay. 1,500 at last. Kent. Add law. Feudal elective. Right, the only elector. I'm going to vote for my player heir, Robert Cutnose. So I think that's going to be a really good place to stop. If we have a quick look at succession, we can see why this is such an important moment here. We no longer lose anything on succession. So if William the Conqueror dies, his son, Robert Curthose, takes over everything, because these two elections, I've got all of the votes. All the counties of Essex, all the counties of Kent, and now we're going to have to massively develop those and bring them, really, really bring them up to speed. We're going to start with economic buildings, things like we're building here in Lewes, to trade ports. Going to start with economic things to just really accelerate the speed at which this money is going up. After that, we'll start investing probably a little bit more into military, because, one thing is you can't really be an English dynasty without a medieval dynasty without longbowmen, so I need to build some longbowmen. But I also build some buildings which will make the longbowmen and armoured footmen, more and more effective. I think that's, just really, really kind of important to do. So we'll flesh out our army. And, it might very well be after William's life, that we'll start systematically going after places like Wales, Scotland, Ireland, and possibly engaging ourselves in some of the politics on the continent. I don't like the idea of taking over those places and forming this kind of sort of massive empire, painting the map a particular colour. But I do fancy the idea of getting a leader, perhaps a grandson or something like that, who's very, very good at intrigue, and putting his children onto the thrones of these places. I'm going to stop there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for listening. I will be back on Friday to continue this playthrough. Take care now. Bye bye.